we looked at reflex actions, and we said reflex actions, they are just actions that occur without control of the brain. Then today, I want us to look at an example of a reflex action, and that is the Irish reflex. Irish reflex. The work of the Irish, it controls the amount of light entering the eye by changing the size of the pupil. And this control, the mechanism by which the Irish controls the size of the pupil, is involuntary. It is a reflex action. It occurs without the awareness of the brain. Then, how does it control the size of the pupil? In bright light, circular muscles in the Irish contract, while radial muscles relax, which causes the pupil to constrict, and as the pupil constricts, it reduces the amount of light entering the eye. In dim light, the opposite happens. Circular muscles in the Irish relax, radial muscles contract, which causes the pupil to dilate and increase the amount of light entering the eye. As you can see here, these are the circular muscles. They contract in bright light. Then the radial muscles relax, causing the pupil to shrink or to reduce, to become smaller. The diameter decreases so that less light enters the eye, because already the light is bright. If too much enters, it will damage the retina. Then in dim light, as you can see, the radial muscles contract, circular muscles relax, causing the pupil to enlarge, its diameter to increase. As you can see, the pupil becomes bigger to let in more light. Now, why is there a need to control the amount of light entering the eye? It's because too bright light, if the light is too bright, it damages the rods and cones, the light sensitive cells on the retina. While if light that enters the eye is too dim, it will not be able to stimulate the light sensitive cells, the rods and cones on the retina, and therefore no image will form on the retina. Therefore, a reasonable amount of light must be let into the eye. Light that is enough to stimulate the light sensitive cells, the rods and cones on the retina, so that the image is formed, and light which is not too much to damage them and not too low not to stimulate them. In this Irish reflex, light hitting the retina is the stimulus. Once light hits the retina, an impulse is generated that is transmitted to the brain through the optic nerves and then back to the Irish muscles, which contract and adjust the size of the pupil. Now here is the summary of the Irish reflex. Our stimulus, that is the light, hits the retina and stimulates the light sensitive cells on the retina and the rods and cones. An impulse is generated, which is carried by the sensory neurons in the optic nerves to the unconscious part of the brain. Unconscious part of the brain is that part of the brain where activities that occur without awareness of the brain take place. Then Impulses are returned to the eyelash by the motor neurons, and then the eyelash muscles, or we call them the effectors, contract and produce a response, and that response is the change in size of the pupil. On the eye, or on the retina, we already said that the retina has light sensitive cells, but not the whole retina has light sensitive cells. No. One part we call the blind spot, which is next to the optic nerve, this part here. It has no light sensitive cells, the rods and cones. And because it has no light sensitive cells, the rods and cones, no image can form here. That's why we call it the blind spot. Then the whole of this other red part is the retina. Then this is our eyelash, this blue part, as you can see, that's the eyelash, and then this is the pupil. So as it contracts, as the muscles in the eyelash, the radial and circular muscles contract, either this pupil can enlarge or it can become smaller. As it becomes smaller, the amount of light entering is regulated. Accommodation of the eye. Accommodation refers to changes that take place in the eye which allow us to see objects at different distances. The eye lens is able to change its shape, or it changes its shape because it's made up of cells that contain elastic crystalline proteins that allow it to change its shape. It can change its shape and become fatter or more convex or more rounded, and as it becomes more rounded, it reflects light rays more. It bends light rays more than when it is thinner or when it is less convex. The lens, the eye lens, is held in position by suspensory ligaments, and these ligaments are attached to ciliary muscles. The ligaments cannot stretch, but remember they are attached to ciliary muscles which can constrict. As the muscles constrict, they pull the ligaments, and then the ligaments pull the lens, causing it to change its shape. Focusing on a distant object, the ciliary muscles relax, suspensory ligaments are pulled tight, and the lens becomes flat or less convex, as you can see. These are light rays coming from a distant object, so they only need to be reflected less, they need to be bent less, so that the image forms on the retina. Where these light rays intersect is where the image forms. Otherwise, if this lens was more convex, if it was more rounded and it reflects more, the light rays would meet here before the retina. And if the light rays don't meet at the retina, no image will form. So you will not be able to see that distant object. As you can see here, if the lens was more convex, this would happen. As you can see, this light, it would reflect light more, and the light rays would meet here, and once they meet here, because this is not the retina, so no image will form and you don't see anything. Yes, as you can see, when you're focusing a distant object, look at the suspensory ligaments. They are pulled tight, they are straight, as you can see. The ciliary muscles are relaxed. So when the suspensory ligaments are tight, the lens becomes less convex. or flat, so that it can reflect light. It can reflect light less. Reflecting means bending of light rays. Focusing on a nearby object or viewing a nearby object. The opposite happens. Ciliary muscles contract, suspensory ligaments slack or become loose, and the lens becomes more rounded or more convex, as you can see. Because the light rays are originating from a nearby object, they need to be reflected more so that they can meet at the retina. That's why the lens becomes more convex, more rounded, so that it can reflect these light rays more to make them meet at the retina and be able to see. Otherwise, if this lens was less rounded, it would reflect the light rays less, and they would meet outside the retina and you will not be able to see. As you can see here, they would meet somewhere here outside the retina and you will not see anything. Then, as you can see, we said when you are focusing on nearby objects, especially ligaments slack. They become loose. As you can see, they are no longer tight as they were when you are focusing a distant object. So as they become slack or loose, it allows the lens to become more rounded and as to become